So I started to record now. So this is the article here. Can you guys see my screen? This is the article.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes,
So, and I hope that we all read this article now. We read the article, Abby.
yeah.
Yes, we did.
Okay. So the first question I want to ask is, what is the aim of this paper? What is the aim? What's the objective of the paper? What's the objective of the paper?
To systematically review all the prospective cohort studies that's
Continue. You're getting it. You're getting it. Continue.
I was reading from the screen. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, you're reading from the screen. Okay. Continue.
To systematically review all the prospective cohort studies that have analyzed the relationship between adherence to a Mediterranean diet, mortality, and incidence of chronic disease in a primary prevention setting.
This one you did now is plagiarism. Anyway, okay, no problem. You tried though, but this is the abstract. I want you guys to get me the and the aim of the study from the introduction. Find the research problem.
Okay. Okay. I've done this thing before. Where did I drop it?
You guys should read this is the introduction now. So give me the aim of this research. And you give me a paraphrased aim. I don't want you to copy and paste what is inside here. Give me your own words. Anybody is ready should attempt the question. Are you guys following me?
Yes, we are with you.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
oh, yeah. Start now. Read the introduction, then give me what is the aim of the study. I'm waiting. Make attempt to. I don't mind. Make an attempt and fail, so that if you fail, we'll correct you. But if you don't make attempt, I know how I can know where to correct you. What's the aim of this study? In your own words. What's the objective of the study?
They wanted to find out if when people take part, when people.
Can you talk louder?
Okay, the researchers wanted to discover if people that consume Mediterranean diets, if they consume it as a whole, not like looking at it singly. They want to discover if the population that live around the Mediterranean Sea, if they consume Mediterranean diets for a long time, whether it's going to impact their health.
Okay.
Going to prevent some disease.
Okay. And that person should talk again.
Okay. The researcher. Can I say my own?
Continue. Yes.
The researcher wanted to know if following a Mediterranean diet would yield reduced mortality rate, reduced incidence of cardiovascular disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, or Parkinson's disease.
Correct. That is what I'm trying to say. Yes. So the first thing is to identify the variables, right? That's what I taught you before. Identify the variables in your research. If you have watched the videos, I said what are the variables in this research? What is the independent variable and the dependent variable in this research now? What is
independent variable should be Mediterranean diet.
That's
Yes,
independent
exactly.
variable.
So independent the variable is the one that causes the problem, that causes an outcome, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so is the food that is causing the outcome, which is either mortality, either higher mortality or lower mortality. So is the food that is causing it, right? It's the diet that is causing it. So the independent variable is the Mediterranean diet. Any question at this point? Any question on how we got the independent variable?
No. Is it not adherent to Mediterranean diet?
Yes, adherence. Sorry, adherence to Mediterranean diet. That is the independent variable. So is the level of adherence that is determining the outcome, whether they will have higher mortality and cardiovascular disease or etc. Right? Are we clear on this?
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Stella, are we clear on this? No, not be after now. You can ask me again. Are we clear on this one? What the independent variable is in this research?
Yeah.
Are we clear?
Yeah,
Are
it's
we clear,
clear.
Stella? Are we clear?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
Yes,
we
have.
are
sir.
Ask your
clear.
question
Yes.
now. Ask your question. I will not repeat independent variable again. Independent
There's no
variable
problem.
is the one that is causing either good news or bad news.
Yeah, the one causing the outcome. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, from this introduction, now, if you're reading an article, the first thing
Sorry,
I say you
excuse me.
need.
So the dependent variable will now be cardiovascular disease and other
Calm
ones,
down,
Abi.
calm down, calm down. Now we never reach that side. Waiting we did
Okay.
now just dependent variable. Because from here, if you look at here now, they said association between A and B. Abi, are you seeing the word? The aim of this study is to what? Discover the association. Who is joining? I cannot see the person that is joining though. Okay, so let's continue. So the aim of this research is to discover the association between. So you always look for A and B. So your A is the independent variable. So between Mediterranean diets, are you seeing that? And what? What's the next thing there? Are you seeing it? Huh?
Yes.
So
Yes.
all those things that they are saying are summarized in one word, in two words. Adverse
Advanced
outcome.
outcome.
So
Yes.
adverse outcome is the dependent variable. Is that clear now?
Yes. Yeah.
So so remember I said that you have to define, operationalize your variable. So is now when we now read the research proper, we will now know how they defined adverse outcomes. Then we also know how they defined adherence to Mediterranean diet. Is that clear?
Yes,
Any
sir.
question?
Yeah.
I said that you must define your variables very well. You must operationalize it. So as it is now, we don't know what they mean by adherence to Mediterranean diet. They have not yet defined it. Okay. We don't know how they are measuring it. Then we don't know how they are measuring adverse outcomes. So the first thing in reading your research is to identify the variables. The second thing is to what? Understand how the variables are defined. Understand how the variables are defined. Okay, so now we have understood what the objective is. The next thing we need to understand is, let me see who will get this one now. Um, let me see whether I will see. Okay, so now, if you read this introduction, can someone identify the research problem? Let me see who will get this one now for £1,000. Identify the research problem. What led them to this research? So in your introduction, two things you must discover is the research objective and the research problem. So any article you are reading, in that introduction and background, go straight and search for the objective and search for the research problem. So, question: Tell me what is the research problem in this article that led to the objective. Oh, yeah. If I'm lecturer, this is the kind of exam I'll be doing. No mago. You just stay and be talking. It's not to come and write essay. This one has to talk. Oh yeah. You don't start to start. Hello. Are we there?
We're reading the introduction.
Okay. All right. I'm waiting. Tell me the research problem in this introduction.
I think it's where they said.
Wait, no. In your own words, though. In your own words,
Ah,
plagiarism. In your own words.
okay. They said for the past years that there's been more focus on adherence to all Mediterranean diets rather than analyzing individual components of dietary patterns in relation to health
Sorry,
status of the
sorry.
population.
Can you talk louder on your speaker? Can you talk louder so that we can hear you? We are recording this training for others. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. I said what I think was the research problem was the fact that several research has in the past has always focused on the estimating of adherence to the whole Mediterranean diet rather than analyzing individual components. That
Okay.
is different individual Mediterranean diets because they are different. From what I understand, there are different types of LD diets that comes together as a Mediterranean diet. So what past research has been doing was analyzing them together, not identifying or analyzing one after like each separately. Like for example, maybe fish or salads or that's how I understand it. So that was the research
Okay.
problem.
Another
That was the
person.
gap.
Yes, that was a good attempt. A very good attempt. Another person who can put it better. I'm giving gift for this thing now. Who can put it better? What's the research problem? In any article, you must identify the research problem. And then is that the research problem that will lead to the objective? Okay. Can we talk? This is the critical thinking we're talking about. So. Critical thinking, being able to identify things. So, can someone talk? Another person? Yeah. Hello? Hello?
The answer the first person gave is what I'm going with. They want to analyze individual Mediterranean
Okay,
diets.
so you guys are getting the answer from here, right? From this place.
Yes, yes.
From here.
Yes.
Okay, so now the research interest in the field over the past years are focused on estimating adherence to whole Mediterranean diets rather than analyzing the individual components of the dietary pattern in relation to the health status of the population. So that is the research problem. So from today, if you are reading your research paper now, in the introduction and background, as you are scanning, try and identify the research problem, and then try and identify the aim of the study. I hope that is clear now.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Any question before we continue? Any question?
No.
Okay. Now, I said that we need to understand how are the variables defined. How did they define the dependent and independent variable? Okay, so I'm going to scan down until I reach where. Okay. So now, sorry, as we are going down, if we head to the methodology, I want to know what type of study design is this article. So I've gone down to methods, data sources. I didn't see it here. I see that I'm not seeing the type of study design here. So the next thing I need to find out what's the study design. It's not here. So I'm going down again. I'm scanning. I want to see what is the study design.
The design is there now on the first page after the objective.
Okay, on the first page. Okay, where
Yes,
is it?
after the objective, the design is there before the data sources.
Where it is?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
on the first page.
Okay.
On the first page.
Okay. Yeah, you're correct.
Data
You're correct.
analysis of
The
Good,
prospective
good, good,
cohort,
cohort
good,
studies.
cohort
good. This
study.
is something. Yeah. So that's the next thing to find out in any paper you're reading. Find out the study design. Is it a qualitative study? If it's a qualitative study, what type? If it's a quantitative study, what type? Okay. So like this one is a quantitative study, is a systematic review with meta analysis. All right. Okay. So now let's continue. The next thing to find out, at least already we have seen the search strategy. Okay. So, but now we want to look at the in this study selection, what is important for us? Is there anything that is so much important for us? Nothing. I want to look at how did they how did they define the variables? Okay. Now I'm still
Sorry,
scanning.
I have your question.
Yes, continue. Ask your question.
Okay, like you mentioned, if it's a quantitative study, what type, and qualitative, what type? Please, can you
Yes.
name the types, please? Of
Okay.
yeah.
Types of quantitative studies is that is everything under epidemiology is quantitative study now. So all those cohort study, case control study, cross-sectional study.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what I mean by the type of study design. Okay,
Okay.
for quantitative, then is it then? But if it's a qualitative, now there are other qualitative study designs, and that one is in your research, in your this thing. If you check your research module, there are different types of for qualitative study design. For example, you have grounded theory. Okay, you have grounded theory. You have phenomenology. Phenomenology. So if you just use Google and then just type types of, let me, because I'm recording this video, qualitative study designs. So you have phenomenology, you have grounded theory. Yeah. So types of qualitative study designs. So these are the types here. They, at least for now, the basic types. You have can you see my screen very well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a case study, ethnography, grounded theory, phenomenology, and then participatory action research. Okay, so there's no need of going deep into all these things because you can always read them up. Phenomenology is all about experiences. If you're looking at experiences, like if you want to, if you're summarizing experiences of like my own thesis, experiences of refugees, how they experience interpretation and translation services in the UK. Is a primary study. That means like you do focusing group and all that. So that approach is called phenomenology. All these other ones, you will not have enough time to do them in this master's program because they require a longer time, including this one too. Okay, so if you want to read up, if I thought you want to do uh, primary research, I don't know if you guys will do primary research, but this one is the only one that you can manage to do this phenomenology. Okay. So now, after this session, it will be good if you can get your research textbook, okay, and then open the chapter on qualitative research designs, okay, and read up read up that chapter on so that you'll be able to understand what all these things are, when to use them, at least just for knowledge sake, okay. But that's not our focus before we deviate and enter into another thing altogether. So
All right.
our own, what we want is to critically analyze this our research paper. So like I said, so I've seen the data source that, so these are the keyword, these are the database that they searched. You can see PubMed, Embase, Cochrane, and Web of Science. Okay, you can see the keywords that they used and the mesh headings. Mediterranean, these are the keywords used in getting this thing. There was no language restriction. So these are the things that are important to me. Okay. Now, the study selection, I want to know the variables. Remember, we said it is adherence to Mediterranean diet. I don't know how they measured it. Yeah, I don't know what they mean by adverse outcomes. So I need to find out where they define these things. How are they? What do you mean by adverse outcomes? So I'm still scanning down. Okay, so this one is all about how they did their selection. Now, data extraction, what the things that they extracted. Age, so these are the things that they extracted when they were looking at the research. Okay. Now, can you see components of the score for adherence here? Components of the score for adherence to Mediterranean diet. So this is giving you an idea on how they are going to measure adherence now. Are you seeing that? I'm having an idea, even though they have not clearly defined it. So I need to search. Okay. Now, look at this one. Outcomes of interest. Are you seeing that? Are we seeing this?
Yes.
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 Outcomes of interest were what and what?
Mortality.
Overall
Mortality.
And
Mortality from cardiovascular
Mortality
disease.
from cardiovascular disease, incidence of
Incidence
Mortality from
mortality.
cancer, as well as
three.
occurrence of
Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease.
Alzheimer's disease.
So have you seen? So this is what is called operationalization of variable. So you cannot just say adverse outcomes. You could measure all the adverse outcomes in this world. No. Oh, you see, the baby answered no. You see that? So you have to choose the outcome that you are interested in. That is called what? Operationalizing your variable. So when you are defining something, we need to know what exactly do you mean. So here I've seen that the outcomes, that adverse outcomes, what the researcher is interested in is these 5 variables. So there is no diabetes here. Are you seeing that? There's no diabetes, there's no malaria. Okay. So there is no okay, there is cardiovascular disease. So you need to know how your dependent variables and independent variables are defined. Is that clear?
Yes.
Any question at this point? Any question?
No.
Only one person.
No
Any
question.
No question. I should continue.
Yes, continue, please.
Question. Yes.
Okay. So now we have known. Now, can you see this? Huh?
Where,
Adherence
please?
to so are you saying that they are trying to define what they mean by adherence to Mediterranean diets? So your variables must be defined. You cannot leave it open. All right. Now, how did they define adherence to Mediterranean diet? They defined it through what? Through what? Scores
Scores that
Score that
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 estimated
estimated
the conformity
the
to
conformity of the direct
dietary.
pattern
Exactly.
of the
So
studied population.
from 0 or 1, we are assigned to each dietary components. So that is how they use that's how they measured adherence level. Now they listed how did they define Mediterranean diet? How did they define Mediterranean diet? So can we see that?
Yes.
Is not all the foods, though. They were very, very specific.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned the food that they used. Okay.
Ah,
Okay. And
yes.
they showed you how they want to measure it. Okay. So those those that whose consumption was above the median consumption of the population, they were assigned a value of 1. Are you seeing that? Those whose consumption of Mediterranean diet was those that their consumption level was above the median for the entire population, they assigned them a value of what?
One,
1. Whereas those below the median for the population, they assign them a value of 0.
0.
Are you seeing that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen how they measured whatever I want. At least I've seen how they measured it. Okay. So now let's go to data analysis. So how do they analyze the data? They use RevMan software to analyze the data, right? Now I want to define something. See, they said that they adjusted for potential confounders. What is a confounding variable? Who can attempt this one? They say that they adjusted for potential confounders. So my question is, what is a confounding variable? That's my question. What is a confounder? Because you might be asked, well, what is a confounder in your exam? What is a confounder? Can anybody make an attempt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
A confounder can be anything that is being studied that could cause the results, that could affect the results either positive any other way, but not the actual thing you're studying, but it can influence the results, the final results of your study. Those are
Okay,
confounders from my own
okay.
understanding.
So, so a confounding variable is something that can lead to spurious results. Okay,
Yeah,
so
the
it
outcome.
can affect the results of your study. So, did anybody join? Okay, can you see my screen? Hello.
Yes.
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. So now, so let's look what confounding variable is. Now, a confounding variable, it does not lie in the causal pathway. That means a confounding variable does not cause the effect of the disease. It doesn't cause the that is like it's not a cause of the outcome, but it can influence the outcome. So if you look at this picture, you will see that a confounding variable can affect both the independent variable and the dependent variable. So it can lead to a spurious result. So, for example, if you are looking at the relationship between smoking as an independent variable and the development of lung cancer, what are the possible confounding variables for smoking? If you are doing a study,
Alcohol.
smoking, if you are doing a study, smoking and lung cancer, okay, what is the possible confounding variable that can
Alcohol.
affect your results? Yes.
Alcohol.
What? Alcohol, right?
Alcohol, yeah.
Okay, so you have to also you have to control for alcohol. What else again?
Um,
Can age be a factor?
yes, yes.
Can age be a confounding variable?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you check in most studies, they normally adjust for age and gender. Is it not?
Gender, yeah.
Age and gender.
What about
Okay, so all those anything that can heighten, that can affect and lead to a spurious result is called a confounding variable. Okay, so let me go back to my screen.
I have
So
a question.
yes, go ahead and ask your question.
This confounding variable it's still very confusing to me because when I see critically, like, it's really improving. So my question is, what's actually the difference between bias, confounding variable, and an effect modifier? Because when they taught us in class, they talked about bias, talked about confounding variable, and then they talked about effect modification, but the three of them are kind of confusing me. Yes, I know the example that a confounder, when you are looking at disease and smoking, the confounder can be alcohol consumption or age or sex. But what about when you're looking at it, how will you identify a confounder and differentiate it from an effect modifier or from an ordinary bias in the experiment? Hello? Hello? I don't hear it again.
I don't think it's there.
Maybe he muted himself. He's coming back.
Hello.
no, it's not muted. My network.
Okay, I'm back. It's
Okay.
network. Let me share my screen again. Can you guys see my screen?
No,
No.
Yes, sir.
we can't see
Okay.
your screen.
Can you see my screen now?
No,
No.
See it.
I
Not
cannot
seeing it.
see it.
Uh,
I can see it.
I cannot see
uh-huh.
your screen, please.
I'm
No,
not seeing your screen. Oh.
you check down. You should be able to see it. Are you not seeing it?
We can see it. I can see it.
I can see.
So you were asking a
I'm
question
not seeing it
before now.
yet. Seriously.
Good. All right, go ahead. Ask the question. I didn't get the question.
Okay, I say ordinarily, we've talked about confounding variables, like confounders. For
Yes.
instance, when you have an outcome and an exposure, and then, for instance, if the exposure is smoking, maybe a confounding variable can be alcohol consumption, age, or sex. But the thing confuses me is the difference between a confounder, bias in the experiment, and an effect modifier, because they talked about these three things in class, and it's kind of confusing for me because
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
So an effect modifier, in the presence of an effect modifier, the outcome increases astronomically. So the presence of an effect modifier can make the outcome, that means the dependent variable now, either to increase by like assuming that maybe like if I don't know, if A causes B, like on a normal day, let's say if smoking causes 10 cases of lung cancer, in the presence of an effect modifier, I don't know an example, maybe alcohol, or I don't know the appropriate example now. That number, that 10 cases of lung cancer that you are seeing might increase to like 100. So an effect modifier either it amplifies the effect astronomically, or it reduces the effect astronomically too.
So how about
a confounding variable? Okay, let me just get this thing, because it has been long. I read that difference so that I will not give error. I've done that research before. So this question you're asking me now, let me get it from internet directly, so that we'll look at it together. Okay. So now let's look at confounding variable. Okay, so a confounder is a factor that is associated with the exposure. Okay, so it is not part of the causal pathway. That means it does not on its own cause the outcome. Okay. Okay, wait. It said it's okay. It is not part of the causal pathway, and then it can independently cause the outcome. Independently, that means alone. So that means if you're looking at smoking and lung cancer,
alcohol.
can alcohol intake cause lung cancer on its own?
Probably.
I'm not sure. So, but from here, they said a man and a woman in a relationship, okay, and the woman's best friend, who always accompanies the woman, knows. I don't like this kind of example, whatever. Okay,
An example could be family history of lung cancer and smoking.
Yes, exactly. Family history of lung cancer can also predispose someone to having lung cancer. So that family history is a confounding variable. So if you are saying bias is the result of that confounding variable being present. That systematic error that enters the research process as a result of that confounding is called bias. So that's why you try to control for, as you're controlling for confounding, you're already controlling for bias. So bias is a systematic error that is as a result of not controlling for all these as a result of not controlling for confounding variables. So let me see an example they have here. Okay, so a study to investigate the association between A and B, that is tryptophan and myalgia. Now, however, tryptophan is used to treat depression and insomnia. Okay, both conditions cause myalgia. Sorry, both conditions are associated with myalgia. So tryptophan is a confounder. So can someone analyze this statement very well? Okay, so if you want to look at the relationship between tryptophan and myalgia, just forget about the English. Myalgia means body pains, generalized body pain. Okay, so you want to look at whether if someone is taking a drug, okay, that contains tryptophan, whether it has any effect on generalized body pain. Okay, so now they are saying that this drug called tryptophan is also used in treating depression and insomnia. Insomnia means like when you cannot sleep, lack of sleep, not sleeping very well. Okay. So the drug, that means you are looking at the association between tryptophan and generalized body pain, muscular pain. Okay, that is your research. Okay. Now, but this drug that you're using to do this research is also used to treat depression and insomnia. And these two conditions now also cause they are also associated with the same outcome, the same uh, body pain that your experiment is about. So, because this drug causes myalgia, okay, and then the condition that you are treating is also associated with myalgia, then they are saying that tryptophan is now a confounder. It's not that very clear to me on the association itself, anyway. So, but from what I am getting from here, if the the independent variable, if the independent variable, that is the tryptophan, okay, is leading to the independent variable causes an outcome here, okay, while this independent variable too is used in treating other diseases too that causes the same outcome. So you can see that it becomes a confounding variable because it is affected with both, it is associated with both the independent variable, which is tryptophan itself, and then the outcome. The outcome here is myalgia. So because this because this uh, um, tryptophan is associated with different conditions, different outcomes that lead to the similar results, then it itself is a confounding variable. I don't know whether I'm able to make it very, very clear. I'm just trying my best to explain it, but it's not a very good example, sure. So let me look at this one. Let me see what I can get this one. So coffee drinking and lung cancer. Okay. However, when adjusted for cigarette smoking, the association disappears. They didn't explain this one very, very well. So maybe I'll have to do a different video, and then we're going to look at this topic again. So let me go and study it very well, and then maybe get good examples that can illustrate it very well. But in terms of definition, a confounding variable is associated with both the exposure and the outcome, and then it does not lie in the causal pathway. That is by definition. Okay. So, but I need to get examples, a very good example. I don't like the one I'm seeing here. Now, effect modifier. Okay. So, when an exposure has different effects in different subgroups, okay, of or strata, then effect modification is successful. So, for example, if you're looking at the impact of smoking on lung cancer, for example, and then you notice that for men, the impact is more among men, while among women, the impact is less, while among a particular ethnic group, the impact is more, then in another ethnic group, the impact is less. That kind of impact is called effect modification. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
Okay.
No,
That
this last I didn't get clearly, please.
I mean, I'm trying to explain this. When the exposure has different effects on different subgroups. So if your research is impact of smoking on effect of smoking on lung cancer, and then you notice that the outcome varies, the level of that's the impact varies across different independent variables. So let's say in age, maybe the elderly are more affected. Then in gender, is affecting men more compared to women. So that amplification of effects is called the effect modification. So I'm going to get a very good example, and then maybe I'll do a video, and then maybe in our next session we can also look at it again. Okay, so it has been long. I read this part. Sometimes it's confusing, to get a very good example that you're able to say, okay, this is effect modification, and then you say that this one is a confounding variable. Okay, so here effect modification is not a bias, as it does not result in systematic error. Okay, so I cannot fully explain this part right now, yeah, until I read it again, and then I'll come up with very good examples. Okay, so in summary, confounding is a bias and it must be minimized. Okay, but then effect modification is not a bias. That's a natural occurrence. Then the effect modifier is associated with outcome and not exposure. So you can just jot the important characteristics anyway, jot the important points. Then we'll look for good examples to explain it, maybe in our next meeting. So from here, I can see you can jot down these things, these important points. The effect modifier is associated only with the outcome, okay, not
Okay, sir.
exposure. That's the first one. The second point is that effect modification is not a form of bias, is not a bias, it's a natural occurrence, and it cannot be minimized. So if I come in our next session or in the WhatsApp group, then if I read it very well, I'll come up with an explanation. So as I don't have a PhD in epidemiology, so I'm not an authority here. I only have masters. so I'll find out, I'll read more and then try and explain it. Okay. So what else again? Effect modification is expected to be similar across cohorts and not influenced by the study design. So we have 3 points here. Are we okay with this one? Just jot, then maybe I'll get other examples in our next session or on the WhatsApp group.
Sorry, you said effect modifier is similar across the
See,
cohorts.
can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Can you see my screen? This is the first point I said. Okay. Then this is the second point I said. This one. Okay. Then this is the third point. Effect is not a bias. It's a natural occurrence. It's not a sort of bias. Okay. And then this is the last point I mentioned about education. So this one I need to revise it and then come up with examples. But it's good that you ask, because you might be asked about confounding. Okay. And bias. Confounding is a bias itself. A confounding factor is something that can cause bias. Bias is what? A systematic error. Systematic error in research. Okay.
I don't know. This is my years to complete finish.
Hello. Have we jotted this one? This one I've said now. Have we jot the definition first? That's the most important thing. Jot it, then after jotting it, then the next thing is to now watch videos until you understand this. So I'm going to read it up again and then explain it better. But this one I are seeing now on the screen, you need to screenshot it or you jot it down. Okay. So this is the definition here. This one now. When an exposure has different effects in different subgroups, okay, or strata, effect modification is suspected. An effect modifier is associated with the outcome only, but not the exposure. outcome. If you remember, if you look at this in effect, that's an outcome, right? So that is associated only with the outcome. Effect is associated with outcome, so they are similar. So that you can remember it in exam. Effect is an outcome. Okay, so effect modifier is associated with what? Outcome only. Now, confounding variable. I hope we are jotting, Abby.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes.
Yes.
confounding variable must be a risk factor for the disease. Confounding variable must be a risk factor for the disease among non-exposed person and must be associated with the exposure. That means like on both pathways is a risk factor, and also that means like it can affect both the independent variable and the outcome variable. Okay, then but it must not be in the causal pathway. So I need to get an example for these two things now. A very good example. So I'll prepare for that one and then I'll explain it on the WhatsApp group or in a video. Okay, so but for now, you just need to know the difference. That's like know the difference. Then we'll look for examples and get it across to you. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ask.
This confounding variable, you said it does not lie in the constant way.
Yes, that means it doesn't cause the disease. It doesn't cause the disease, but it is associated with the disease itself. So
But
when you say
it's,
alcohol is a confounding variable to lung cancer, does it cause lung cancer? Alcohol
alcohol,
intake is a risk factor. And if you
okay.
remember the lecture I told you, I talked about causality. That you can establish causality using what? Two things. Using randomized control trial and then using the Bradford Hills criteria. I hope you remember that lecture.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you remember that when you're saying that something is a risk factor, it doesn't mean that that thing is a cause of the
Yeah.
disease. So, a confounding variable, it said it doesn't lie in the intermediate causal pathway.
Okay.
So, if you're trying to trace the cause of the disease, you cannot really say this is what is causing this disease in particular. Okay, but it is associated with both the independent variable and the dependent variable. Anyway, all these ones they are all English. So it's only when we get example that we will really understand them very well. So I'll try and look for example. So that I will get it across to you.
It's just that I feel that, sorry, Dr. Tony, I feel that it does not lie in the causal pathway is contradicting that the
Okay.
other statement.
Okay, wait, let's see. A confounder is a factor associated with exposure. Okay, wait, I don't really I don't really get it. He said it's not part of the causal pathway.
But it can
But if,
independently cause the outcome. I don't
okay,
understand.
it can independently cause the outcome. So what is
Yeah,
what the meaning of not knowing? No, okay, wait, let me check this site. There's a site. I'll
I
give you
think
my
they are or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Let me this site, health knowledge.
Yeah.
Healthknowledge.org.uk. I think yeah. Healthknowledge.org.uk. So I'm going to search something now. So you can bookmark the site.
Part of this faculty of public health, Dr. Tony.
What?
Are you a member
What?
of this faculty of public health?
Yes. Now you are supposed to register now. You don't know.
33 pounds.
Now is it what you cannot afford? If you save your money, if you fast for 3 days, you save that 3 pounds.
Hey.
Now if you fast for if you save the 10 pounds,
3 hours
I've registered though. Go and register so you have
But
your
wait,
number.
Dr. Tony, The 33 pounds, is it just for 1 year, or is it like
I think
for how long
I think
does it
I
last?
think but my own, I did it shortly before my ID card expired. So you can target maybe a month to you go rush and go register so that your 1 year will start counting.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Hmm. Okay.
Anyway, but this site is very useful. This healthknowledge.org. I think I don't know whether it's somebody that owns it before the so I'm going to search for confounding factor here. Confounding variable. Let's see whether I will get something. Good. So this is the best site that you can read public health. This site. Okay. So this can be your lecture notes. I don't really need to teach you again because I'm not a professor. I'm still developing myself. So anyone I don't get, you come here, you see, you correct me. Okay, so now bias is a systematic error, okay, in a study as a result of ink. Okay, these are all English. All I know is that it's a systematic error. Now there are different types of bias. I'm not going to come and start telling you. You can see all of them here. Information bias. Where can you see? Let's see those that can think. Just where can you see information bias?
Please, I'm not hearing you clearly.
I said, where can you see information bias? So these are types of bias. Where can you see information bias? Which study? Is it cohort or case control? Which one do you think?
Case
Just by
control.
why? Let me know whether you get it. Why?
Case control.
Retrospective.
Okay, so that means you'll be asking them question, Abby.
Yeah, and there might
Yeah.
probably be a problem of recall.
Recall.
Good. I like that. So case control is you have information bias and recall bias. Okay. So you see that, so very, very easy to derive. Then let me see. What can you see in cohort study? What kind of bias can you see in cohort study?
So I cannot hear you.
What kind of bias can you see in cohort study?
Observation, Abi.
Lots of follow-up.
Selection bias. So
Selection.
example of selection bias, either in sampling or allocation or loss to follow-up. So the loss to follow-up that you're talking about is here. That's this one. So this is the one that you can see in cohort study. Loss to follow-up.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. But then selection bias can occur in both of them. That's when you're trying to categorize them into control and case. Okay. Or exposed and non-exposed. So you can always have selection bias in case control studies. Even in core studies. Can you see that? You can have it in core studies, in case control, then you can also have selection bias in cohort studies. Okay. You can also have it in randomized control trial. Anything that involves categorizing people.
Which other type of
groups. You said, what did you say?
which other kind of bias can we find in cohort study?
In cohort study, the one I'm sure you can find selection bias and loss to follow up. That's attrition. Those are the two I'm sure. So selection bias can be found in both case control and cohort study. And anything that has selection in it, that's you need to categorize people. So look at the confounding I was telling you now. Confounding variable provides an alternative explanation of association between exposure and outcome. So you can screenshot this definition for your jotting. So it tries to provide an alternative explanation for an association between exposure and outcome. It occurs when an observed association is in fact when an observed association is in fact distorted because the exposure is also correlated with another risk factor. Okay. So so what I'm understanding from this place now is, if for example the association between smoking and lung cancer, or let's say smoking and what else again now? Smoking and let's say smoking and lung cancer. Then what else can cause lung cancer again? Let's say positive family history. Okay, so now you will see that smoking can cause lung cancer. Also, having a positive family history can also cause lung cancer. Can also be a risk factor of lung cancer, right? So now, if you are studying now, if you are looking at the relationship between smoking and lung cancer alone, then you need to control control for those that have a positive family history. So that's what I'm understanding from this place, because here it is saying that the risk factor, okay, the confounding variable is also associated with the outcome. So both the independent variable and the confounding factor are also risk factors of the outcome. Is that clear?
Mhm.
Is
Yes.
that clear? I've tried the much I can. I cannot go beyond this part now. Okay, so now they are giving a given example. Okay, so please, can you very important, can you snap this? Can you jot this? The rules for confounding variable. It must be
Okay.
independently associated with the outcome. That means it must be a risk factor, right?
Yeah.
Then it must also be associated with the exposure. Okay. Then it should not lie in the causal pathway. So it's still the same thing, the same rule that we say that we checked before, the same rule. So they gave an example here: alcohol consumption and coronary heart disease. So alcohol can cause alcohol intake can cause is a risk factor for heart disease. Smoking on its own is also another risk factor for heart disease. Okay. So, and then he said, so that means controlling for the confounding effect of smoking. Okay, so that means that if you do an experiment and you don't control for alcohol, okay, you may think that he said that you may think that there is no association between alcohol and heart disease, assuming that you don't control for smoking. So that's the importance of controlling for each of those factors. So what can a confounder do? A confounding variable may make you feel that there is no association when actually there is one. Okay, so that means that it can cause either positive association or negative association or neutral. So that means it can flaw the research. Okay, I'm using this opportunity to just revise this confounding variable because it has come up now. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So,
Hi.
hi, we're here.
This kind of answer now, it doesn't mean that you are not following. So you're tired. Which one?
Tired, I'm not following. I just screenshotted and say later I'll read.
Okay, all right. Just jot this one.
Eh,
The ways to control for confounding. Just jot it because you might be asked to list it: through randomization, through restriction, and true matching. Just jot it down. Have it in your jotter. So let's go back to our forest plot. Just jot this one or have a screenshot of it. Then later you can read it. Hello.
Hello.
All right. So I'm going to stop this confounding now. Have you seen? Okay. So the main thing while we're here, Stella, are you still here?
Yes,
Hello.
Yeah,
sir.
I'm here.
So this is the main. The whole purpose of all these things is just to answer this your question. So
Okay.
we will now come to the main question. Remember that now we know the who is happiness? Is she in the group? Who is happiness? Hello? Hello?
I'm muted. Happiness is here. I'm here.
Are you in the WhatsApp? Okay.
Happiness, yes.
Okay, it's good. So now we have identified our variables now, right? So we can now interpret the forest plot. Yeah, someone should interpret. Someone should interpret to.
I just came in. I think I'm feeling floated and lost. So I just came in. I'll take my time and go through what we've done, then digest it. If I have any question, I'll put up in the group. I just
Who is
came
that?
in.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking what the other people that have been here since.
Okay.
Okay, so now they say that we found that a 2-point increase in the score for adherence to Mediterranean diets was significantly associated with reduced reduction of mortality from any cause. Now, the relative risk is 0.91, and then this is the confidence interval, and then p-value is 0.001. Okay. Now, based on this data now, this is the chart that represents this data. So my question is, can you interpret this chart? That's my question. Assuming that in the exam, okay. Now and then you are given the variables. The independent variable is adherence score, adherence to vegetarian diets. And then the outcome is what? Mortality from all causes. So you are now asked to interpret this one, interpret this forest plot. How will you interpret it? I've given you the variables now. Hello. Hello.
Hi. We are looking at it now.
Yeah, now. Give me answer now.
Wait.
Which one are you going to interpret? Is it this one or this one or this one? Which one? Is it this one? Or this one? Or this one? Or this one? Hmm?
Do it line by line. That is become figure 2 now.
No. It's not like line. I was just showing you that last time. The one that is supposed to interpret
Dr. Anthony, your voice is deep. I'm not really hearing you very well.
I said that the only one that you need to interpret is this diamond. That's all. I was just teaching you that day just on how to interpret all these things. But if it comes out in exam, you need to interpret the pooled odds ratio or the pooled relative risk only. So the one I want you to interpret is this diamond. Oh yeah. Interpret. So Can you see the confidence interval? Hello. Hello. Can we interpret now so I can go now? Interpret this thing. Abi, no, waiting not gonna interpret.
Who is laughing? Please stop laughing. Dr. Now we are listening, please.
No, I said you guys should interpret now. Interpret this thing. Interpret the forest plot. Make an attempt. Let me correct. If not,
Okay.
you make mistake and then you learn and you didn't even attempt it. So how will you interpret it now? Which one are you going to interpret? Is it this one or this one or this one? Which one will you interpret among all these things here?
The diamond.
Okay,
That's the food related.
Oh yeah, interpret it now. I'm waiting for you guys to interpret it now. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Is 0.91. So we are gonna do 1 minus 0.91 to get the percentage, right?
Go ahead.
I'm using my phone now. Somebody should do the minus and get this.
0.09. 0.09.
9.
That's 99%. Okay.
0.09.
Oh, that's 9%.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the risk of Jesus. How do they speak their English again?
The variables. Now I said the variables are
Making adherence
to Mediterranean diet and then overall mortality.
There is 9% disease risk
From any cause. That's the variable. Risk of mortality from
I
any
can't hear you.
The variable is risk of mortality from any cause. That's the outcome variable. I see it on the screen.
Okay.
So reduce risk of mortality from any cause. So that's the outcome variable. Okay. Now the independent variable is adherence. Okay, the adherence score for Mediterranean diet. That's the independent variable. So my question is now for you to interpret this thing now. So that's my question. So if I will say what that intake of Mediterranean diets is associated with what? Is that? With 9% decrease in mortality from all causes. Okay. So I would say that no, I don't want you to cram the answer. Understand it. So I would say that those that take Mediterranean diets, okay, they have a lower risk of all-time mortality. In brackets, they have a lower risk of mortality. The risk of mortality from all causes is reduced by 9% among those that take Mediterranean, among those with higher scores of adherence to Mediterranean diet compared to those with lower scores of adherence to Mediterranean diet. That is the answer. Did I say it again?
Yes.
Can someone say it? The risk of mortality from all causes is reduced by 9% among those that with higher adherence scores to Mediterranean diet compared with those with lower adherence scores to Mediterranean diet. So you're comparing two groups. Okay?
Bless you.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Yes. Okay, so figure 2 shows the cumulative analysis for studies. Okay, so I've interpreted this one. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Any question? Any question?
No question for now.
Rosemary, Anyasi.
Yes, sir. No question for now. We'll read. I'll read it more.
Are you
I'll read
sure?
it
I'm
more.
not believing
Yes.
you. I'm not
No,
believing
I'll read
you.
it more. No question for now. I'll read it more. Then I'll ask
Deborah.
my question later.
Tell what you go. Tosin.
I'll be listening now.
Tosin. Oluwatosin. Tosin is not even answering. He's not even here. Sir.
No, I'm here.
What's the answer finally?
Answer what, sir?
This one, interpret it.
He said that there is 9% reduced risk.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, you are listening. Yeah, you are listening. Abi, you just cram the answer.
No, I did not cram. I was listening.
Okay. Now, interpret the confidence interval. Remember, we just interpreted only this one.
Yeah.
Now, interpret the confidence interval is from 0.89 to 0.94.
Okay.
The confidence interval, if you look at this thing, you see that does it contain 1? No.
No.
So I would say that the confidence interval is narrow, right?
Yes.
That means it is precise, and then it doesn't contain 1. So that tells me that it is statistically significant. Okay, and then this is confirmed. This is confirmed by our p-value that is less than 0.05. I hope you are seeing it.
Yes.
Please, can you repeat confidence interval again, please?
See it here now. 0.89 to 0.94. See it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it, but you said something that is narrow and precise.
Okay, I said that the confidence interval is narrow.
Okay.
And then that means that it is precise now. Precision. It's not wide. Are you not seeing this one? This one is wide, and it contains 1. This one, so it's not even significant. But this one is narrow. All these ones are here are narrow confidence. So the narrower the confidence interval, the more precise. So it is precise, and then it does not contain 1. Okay. So that means that's what intake of Mediterranean diet. Okay. Then in summary, I will now say that what intake of Mediterranean diet is associated with what lower risk of what mortality from all causes. That is in summary. Okay. So let me start afresh. So I said that the risk of mortality from all causes is reduced by what 9% among those with higher levels of adherence score for Mediterranean diet compared with those with lower levels of adherence to Mediterranean diet. Okay, and I say that the confidence interval is 0.89 to 0.94. In brackets, this is narrow and precise. This means that what it is statistically significant as it does not contain 1. Okay. Furthermore, the p-value is less than 0.05, further confirming that it's statistically what? Significant. So in summary, intake of Mediterranean diets is associated with what? Lower incidence of what? Mortality from all causes. So that is the interpretation. Yeah. So you can even see here, reduce risk. Here is what? Increased
risk.
So they even wrote it for you. Okay. Now interpret the I square. I square is equal to 48.8%. Okay. So that means what? That the amount of heterogeneity, the amount of heterogeneity in the studies that were combined in all these studies is 48.8%. Okay. Now this p-value is 0.05, and we say that when the p-value is 0. That we want our study to have a p-value that is above 0.05 for our study to be what?
Homogeneous.
For our study to be homogeneous. So here they didn't go deeper to explain what they did after. Okay, so but when the p-value is above 0.05, our study is homogeneous. Okay, and then we can do fixed effect model. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me see. Figure 3 shows a greater adherence. Okay, so it's still the same thing. They're all the same thing, basically. If you open this one, you see that it's still the same thing. Okay, the same thing. Let me see what they wrote here. Okay, who is the person that asked me this question? So can you? I hope you can interpret this in now if you see it, because they are all the same thing, basically. There's no new data. Stella, I hope you can do this in on your own now.
Yes.
Huh? So
Yes,
there are not many. It's just the same thing. Just like maybe if you read, maybe they remove some papers. Okay, but all I know is that in exam they will tell you to interpret one of these things. They might even bring it the way it is, copy and paste. And tell you.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not teaching you, so I'm just giving you a guidance. Okay.
All right.
So, but they're all similar. They're all similar. All similar. 0.87.
But two of the graphs, they are put relative risk is not really touching that line 1.
Which one?
The figure.
All of them. All of them are not
and
touching 1 now.
They're not touching 1.
Even if you are not looking at this, look at the confidence interval. Are you not seeing that this is 0.9?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So even if you don't want to use this one, you can just look at the actual range from here. Anyone that is 1 is insignificant. Look at this one. Insignificant. This one is significant too. So then you can just use this side in case you are afraid of diamond. Use this one that is here.
Okay.
If you don't like diamonds because of the diamond shape, use the. Okay, so I think I'm done. We'll stop to record now. Then there's someone that was asking me something about searching, how to search. So I want to stop recording this thing now because it's too long.
Yes, it's me.
Aha. So let me stop this one.